If you've been to any of the Smithsonian museums lately, you may have noticed people next to you documenting the exhibits with their phones. This as the president threatens to make major changes to what is on display. Fox 5's Bob Barnard has that story.
We're outside the Smithsonian's Museum of American History, one of the places being visited by this army of volunteer historians inspired by something President Trump said in the Oval Office last month.
We want the museums to treat our country fairly. We want the museums to talk about the history of our country in a fair manner, not in a woke manner.
That was seen by some, including grad student Jessica Dickinson Goodman, as a threat to the proper telling of our nation's history. And so she's helping to lead a project collecting thousands of photos of Smithsonian exhibits. The Smithsonian Museums, the National Zoo, and Holocaust Museum included. Those volunteers documenting on their phones the historical record as it exists today, to be preserved for comparison's sake if the White House demand for changes to the telling of our nation's history comes to be.
We have 20+ amazing volunteers, each of whom have worked either solo or in pairs to take on a particular museum and trying to document all of what it is in this moment. And then they coordinate the rest of the volunteers. We're at more than 750 people have signed up. We've had 25,000 photos come in the first 4 weeks. We have about 45% of the exhibits documented as of now.
Georgetown University professor of history Jim Millward, working independently from the school, says their project has brought in amateur historians from D.C., Maryland, and Virginia to help in the documentation of these hundreds of exhibits.
Some of these efforts coming from the current administration have actually been substituting strange views, substituting partisan ideas for expertise. And so we want to make sure that the truth is the guide, that the best practices are the guide, that expertise is the guide to how America, how art, how history is presented in the museums.
With only about half of the exhibits documented so far, Professor Millward says they've got a lot of work to do and are hoping to get it all done by next Tuesday in case there's a federal government shutdown.